Good morning and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Rashmita and I'm the event planner for Microsoft Reactor Bengaluru, India. This session will run over the next 90 minutes including Q&A. The session is being recorded and will be uploaded to our Reactor YouTube channel. I will share the link to our YouTube channel in the chat section soon. Before we begin, please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We are all here to learn together, so please be respectful of other people's views, understanding of differences, being kind and considerate in the way you engage. The chat will be open throughout and we do encourage you all to participate. Also, please keep your mics muted during the session. I would now like to welcome Swami, our speaker for today's session. He is an aspirant software architect and currently works at Applied Information Sciences. He loves to learn about new technologies, but for now, I will hand over to Swami to begin the session. Over to you, Swami.
Hey Rashmita, thank you so much. Guys, good morning. Thanks for joining. And we have a full action-packed episode. So this is the series, folks. I have pasted the link and you guys also go and search in Microsoft Reactor channel, series A04. You will find all these 10 sessions and this is the 11th one. And that being said, the entire source code, including the demo script and other things, will be available here. Like session 9, previously 8 sessions was in 2021 and 9, 10, 11 in 2022. So this is today's session. I will post this link in the chat so that you guys will be able to go grab it whenever you want to give this hands-on. It will be helping you folks to do an hands-on on that one. Okay, so here this entire demo script instructions, including what we will be doing, everything. So there's a lot of action is there in today's episode. 90 minutes is very, very less, but let's run towards the goal. Okay, what are we going to do today is like from the different stacks perspective, like mean stack, MERN stack, full stack using .NET. We'll see that how can we host all these things in Azure. Okay, so previously, if you go and see how do you host Angular 10 or Angular 12 to Azure, at the time what happened is you need to execute quite a few commands. If I show my previous session, there's a big command set of commands we have to execute. Bring the publish profile, do execute. Nowadays, the IDs are becoming so sophisticated, like we don't need to do anything. Now we are becoming lazy. 2 years down the line, we might not be able to do anything. I'm a little worried on that. Okay. Jokes apart, like seriously, the IDs are becoming so sophisticated and it's becoming like a gated community. You have an IDE, you have a compiler, you have a debugger, you have integration with Azure Cloud, integration with AWS Cloud, you have integration with something else, Storage Explorer, integration with SQL database, integration with Postgres, integration with Docker. See that? I mean, you name it, I think these people are providing it. See this, you can integrate with Mongo, you can integrate with Kubernetes, the PowerShell, AWS, Azure, Docker, WSL, everything they're providing right at the doorstep. You don't need to sweat at all. All you need to do is click, 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 and everything works automatically. So just that's the introduction, and let's go ahead and start with this. I already deployed all these things, set of things. So one thing we will see is how Azure Bastion, I think we didn't discuss this. It's part of the syllabus, but let me spend one quick minute on Azure Bastion. So if you go and see, right now I'm connected to one of my Azure virtual machine. Uh, this one, this virtual machine has got uh, Docker and Kubernetes. The Docker Community Edition is installed, free version, and have Visual Studio 2022 Enterprise Edition and Visual Studio Code and all other tools I do have over here. Okay, so um, how did I connect? So if you come and see this, let me go to my virtual machine boxes. And here I have two virtual machines. So today I'll be working on Windows. in the next episode, we'll see how can we work in Ubuntu also. I have both virtual machine with Ubuntu with desktop 2004. So if I come to this Windows virtual machine, I'm using it as a developer box. I don't have the public IP. I don't have the public IP. So how do I connect? I will go and I click on Bastion and I'll give the username password and it connects. So this is the Bastion service. So using the Bastion service, it will open this virtual machine in the see that Bastion. Using the Bastion service, you will open that in the browser itself. You don't need any RDP. So it will be in browser experience. So it's pretty cool. Okay. So that being said, let's go and speaker series, Microsoft Reactor, this one. Let me select. So the first thing is how do we deploy uh, Node.js application? So that's the first piece in MERN stack or mean stack. Okay, whether it is a MERN stack or mean stack, the first one is Node and Express. Mongo Node Express, either it is React or it is Angular. That only that piece will be difference. That's the only piece which will be different. So at this point of time, what we will do is we'll see Node.js Web API, which will be speaking to Mongo Atlas. So the MongoDB, this Mongo Atlas is a very good thing. I really like. They hosted the MongoDB in cloud, and they give us an access to one free cluster. They don't charge anything. So I'm using this since more than a year, almost 2 years, I assume. I use this one. So first of all, if we come and see that the database over here, I can connect browse collections. And if I go and browse the collections, one of the, it is hosted in Azure. So you can host in Google or you can host in AWS or you can host in Azure. Now, here what we are seeing is here we are seeing the multi clouds or multiple parties are getting involved. The MongoDB is hosted in one cloud that again it's in Azure, but at this point of time it is a separate entity. And now I have my own Azure subscription. Now two things are speaking to each other. So this is my database and the books collection is here. Let's see that. Okay, the books collection is here. And so if you come and see that network access, and here we will have the database access. This is a demo. So every time I refresh the password every now and then, and network access is a similar concept what we have seen in our Azure, where it will not allow the SQL database. We used to punch hole in the firewall. Similarly, I punched hole in the firewall, and I'm allowing access from anywhere for next 5 hours. I punched it for 6 hours, but still we have 5 hours to complete our this thing. So that's about the uh, Mongo from the mean or MERN stack. M is this Mongo. We have the database. We have database access. Okay, that's the first piece. Now coming back to Node.js API. Okay, so let me come back to this virtual machine. I'll go here and I have this. Let me reveal in File Explorer. Let me open up this code in a separate instance and just we will see that it's all with the latest packages. So Express and this one, these are some of the dependencies: Chalk, .NET, Express, and Async Handler, Joy, Mongoose, and Morgan. And here we have all this configuration. The key thing is the example.env, where you need to have this MongoDB connection and the port number I want to execute it locally and node env, whether it will be a production or local. So that being said, let's come and start creating the resources. Okay, so we do have the database there. So just want to be in sync. So I'll use the same names, app books, API dev. I already created it last night and tested everything, but just to let's redo this in live session. So if something fails, I always go and fall back on that. Okay. So we have very less number of time and we'll go and start. Okay. So the resource group is, I will select 9th Feb prod, and that's the API name. And the runtime stack is Node 16 LST and East US, Node 16 LST, East US. And that's let me create another plan. So all the naming conventions which we started using since our first episode will use the same kind of naming conventions. So I think I'll go ahead with the basic instead of this one. It's only for few hours. So deployment I'll be doing manually. So I'll select this deployment. Now, sometimes it takes time. Why? Okay. So I'm disabling this deployments and monitoring for now because our focus is something else. Our focus is deploying these applications, different applications. So let's go ahead and create this. This is one of the advantage. It will charge around 900 rupees per month. If I use it for 6-7 hours, then I'll be charged only for that, and I will delete this entire resources which I'm creating today and what I created yesterday. So all these resources will be dismantled in few hours from now. Okay, that is creating. So let's come back over here. So we'll see it is uh, it is this file example.env, which will be the .env file will always be in the git ignore. Please ensure that because this config file is very critical and you will be having credentials to your mm, your database or whatever is your secrets. So always ensure that even though I added this env file because it should be in git ignore. If it is not, please put it in git ignore because that will have lot of key credentials, key information. So don't want to mess up with that. So please ensure that you're doing it. And then what we will do? Then we'll do is npm I will install that. While it is installing, let me go and bring this credentials and paste it there. We can use this one also to deploy, but I already have that over there. So I will go ahead and paste it. This one, which is env file. I will paste it here. Okay, so that is coming up now. It is installing. Let's see that. Okay, and the next thing is we have to have the web application ready. Okay, the plan is ready. Let's come and see the plan. At a high level, we'll see it. It's a Linux one. It's a B. So it has quite a good, at least to a decent extent, other than the shared and free, it has got decent Azure compute power. And here are the apps. We don't have any apps. Let's not waste our time there. And let me come back to prod and let me go here. And at this point of time, you will see that deployment center, nothing is there. And we also seen that in the overview, we will be having this. Uh, it will have a default file. Let's keep it as it is. Let's come back over here. By the time everything would have been installed, so I can do uh, npm start. So let's see that once I do npm start, it goes and It connects to MongoDB Cloud, and this is the port on which we are exposing the API. I will go ahead and open Chrome inside my virtual machine. I'm opening that /API/books. So see that all these records, whatever we have seen in Mongo Atlas, we have seen these databases and browse collections. And inside the browse collections, we have books. And come on, load it fast. Okay. So these were the books which we have seen, Ankur, Saurabh, Vishwanath Swami, Scott, Rudy, Soumya, Swain. Is it? Yeah, he's twice. So let's edit this Soumya Swain. Okay. Now cancel, edit. Okay. I have updated that, made it to right. You see that Soumya Swain is here. Soumya Swain is here. Twice Soumya Swain. See, there's one Soumya Swain that has been replaced with Reddy. So that is a proof that the content, whatever we are getting it on our local, is coming from the MongoDB. Okay. That being said, I will close this immediately. And I mean, this entire source code is there for your reference. Everything is here in this GitHub. You can go and all you need to do is create your MongoDB instance. Maybe you can use your Docker container or Mongo Atlas or anywhere you host the Mongo. You can go ahead and use it. I have Mongo here in my local using the Docker container. I could have used it, but again, that will dilute our focus. Our focus is deploying different applications to Azure and in different modes, not in one mode. Okay, let's start with that. So without diluting much into other areas. Okay, that being said, some of the security practices and other things will focus while going. I'll come here and let me minimize this. And did I key in my credentials? Why is this slow today? Oh, you're signed in. Close this page. So I'm signed in here. So that's what I told. You never need to go out of your ID. It's becoming like what is this? Ah, not showing the main one. Oh God. Okay, let me switch back to my local. So the things are same. So what I can do is I can come in here, uh, come to this Azure. I think I filtered it. It should show the Microsoft Azure sponsorship. So that one it is not showing. I'll look into that why it's not showing. Looks like it got filtered somewhere. So we have to click this. I'll be switching between my virtual machine in Azure Bastion and my local machine. So this is the one which we have created. We'll create the corresponding. Dev is already there. Prod is the one which we are creating now. So we can create this prod here. Okay. So that's the pretty simple concept. So for that, what we will do is I will have to open this in a separate Visual Studio Code just to avoid in selecting which solution we want to deploy. Now that there is only one solution which is going to get deployed, we don't need to worry about that. Let's go to the app service, click on this deploy, and it's asking, do you want to deploy bookstore web API? I said, yes, I want to deploy that. And I'll select Microsoft Azure sponsorship. and then I want to deploy it to this one, books API. That prod, the dev one is already there, the prod one which we have selected, and click on deploy. And then it will start deploying. So let it deploy. In the meanwhile, we'll and come back to this one. And one of the other important things to note here is we have the .env file. So sometimes the .env file may not be copied, or it might have one credentials you're speaking to your local database or test or QA or stage database, but the prod database will be different. So in that case, what we have to do is need to come here and we need to create the configuration, whatever we need. We need this configuration. I need to go and click on new app settings, click this, and bring in the MongoDB credentials and keep it here. So let's save this. Oh, it might trouble us. We might need to redeploy our web API, but that should be fine. Let's see that, because I did that. Will it interrupt? It might not. It might not. Okay, let it go. So while this is getting deployed, we have some breathing space. Let's do two more things. Let's create two more applications. One is for the React UI, and one is for the NG, that is Angular UI. So let's create that. So let's go ahead and create. I want to create a web app, and I will put it in this web prod, and instead of dev, this will be prod, and code, the runtime stack, I'll take it 4.8. Please see this, it will be 4.8. I never experimented because based on the documentation, they suggested to use this 4.8. So let's create a new plan. Let's create this new plan, and let's not use standard. Even we can use standard, that's not a big deal because we are going to dismantle all this resource. I'll use this one in next couple of hours. So whatever it charges for this uh, couple of hours. So I will ignore this as well as the diagnostics. I don't need anything because our focus is full stack apps. So I'll be switching the gates, folks. Um so wherever we are getting the breathing space, we will come and we'll do this. Okay, you see that this is right now we have this in this our API, prod API. The deployment is still happening. So that's one good thing. Again, I'll come back here. Let me bring in this guy. This is for the NG Angular 13 UI. So let me go ahead and let me go ahead and create the Angular 13. So we have to create Angular 13. That way we'll have MERN stack and mean stack. Both the stacks will be seeing that in few minutes from now. Prod, and let me select the stack 4.8 and it's Windows, and I'll put it everything in East-US. Okay, I'm creating separate plans for each, and what is applicable for your team, you need to see that what is the load, whether it is a dev test or whether it is for a customer. Even if it is customer, how many people from customer side they are accessing? Is it 10 people, 20 people, 60, 100? You have to do a performance test before certifying your solution works good. And you should have the alerts and monitoring in place just to ensure you're in production. Okay, that being said, let's come back and see that whether it is deploying. It takes some time for sure. It's good that we are, we'll come back to this one. Okay, in the meanwhile, we'll go and check how many applications do we have created. Okay, let me refresh. So we have one for the API, the merge stack one, and one for Mongo Node Express, and one is for React, and other one is cooked up right now. That is the Angular application, I assume. Yeah, the one for the Angular application. So in the meanwhile, we can see the code while this is might be I did some mistake. No, it takes time, I think so. Let it be. So I'll close this and we can come and we'll see some of the packages. We have chalk .env, that's for that environment file, and Express and Mongo. Okay. And this is the one which we have. And let me show few things here. This is an Express application, and we are using Morgan for logging, and we are exposing allowing cars like anyone can come and hit us, and we have this router. So here is a server where we start the MongoDB, and then once the MongoDB starts, then only we are starting this application. Else we fail. We say that catch error and we'll fail. We'll not start it. Uh, and this is the router. We are exposing get all books and add books and get book by ID, update and delete. That is with parameterized route. This is the straight route. And in the persistence, we are connecting to the MongoDB. And I used to print it, but never print this. It prints to your console. It might turn dangerous. So it's a Mongoose schema. And this is the joy validator. Previously, it used to be happy joy. Now it is joy validator. And a couple of middlewares, one for this, logger, one for this, and controller is pretty lean because rest of the heavy lifting is done by router and the schemas and everything is there. But if you see that routers are pretty lean, right? Okay, I think, will it take this much time? I am not sure. I am really not sure. Let's try. Now, it doesn't give me access. Oh, it's happening. It did zip file and it started extracting the node version, and then it started dropping to the file. And okay, it is doing an install, npm install. Let's go and check this. Uh, okay, so still it shows that. So we will come back to kudu console here. Let's go to kudu console advanced, and let's see that what is the status. Is it stuck here? I don't know. Let's see. And we can do a bash. Let's check this log stream. Okay, site is there. This will be deployed as a container, guys. When we do Node.js in Linux, I think that's the one which it will do. Let's see that. Let me go to environment, and looks like it is creating. See this, the MongoDB connection, whatever we have created there, and also app settings here. It creates an environment variable. So in the code where we are accessing this as part of the environment variable here, process.env MongoDB connection, that will be picked up by this environment variable over here, MongoDB connection. So we have to go ahead and create it. That's the reason we created it. That might be okay, good. It is giving me access. CD site ls cd www ls. Okay, so it didn't do deployment. So if deployment was done, there will be a lot of files here. Looks like something gone wrong. How do I cancel this? Okay, never mind. We will redo that deployment. That should be fine. Sponsorship, and that's books API, and that will override the deployment. We are fine that being overridden. Okay, cool then. That is, oh, this guy is telling that there is a current deployment which is in progress. Okay, never mind. That should be fine. So in the meanwhile, we'll deploy other two things. Let's deploy the React.js. Once we deploy, we'll see that. I'll come in here and go to this one and click on deploy, and that is React.js application. I said yes. I want to deploy it to Azure Microsoft Azure sponsorship, and that will be RJUI, React.js UI to prod, and I click on OK and let it deploy. Let me open another instance. I'll come in here. Let me open. That's other mistake I did. I'm sorry. So here we should not. There's one difference here. We should not do that way how we deployed this Node.js for React and for Angular. That will be little bit different. Okay, I will show you. So when we come to this Node.js or React, the first thing what we have to do is we have to build the binaries. Only the binaries will go. So npm run build. We need to type this npm run build. Let this go. Let it fail, and we will redo that again. It's not a big deal. Okay. For some reason, this is uh, troubling her. Troubling us. Let's see that. I mean, it will come eventually. It might take some time, but it will eventually come. At this point of time, it is still here. No problem. Let's do for the Angular. So what will happen is once we execute this npm run build, it will create this binaries in this dist folder. So these binaries are very lean. So it is creating, see this, it removed the previous binaries, it deleted everything, and it is creating a fresh set of binaries. So those fresh set of binaries are coming in here. Okay, that being said, that those binaries are here. So once these binaries are there, you need to click on the binaries folder, then come and click on deploy to app. And now you will select this. Node.js is little different. React and Angular is this way. First, we have to build it, generate the binaries, and use that binaries folder. So ngui prod, I'll select that folder. React will do it. It will give us a control in 5 minutes or something. Then in the meanwhile, we'll go and we'll see the Azure Container Registry, and we'll come back to this one. Okay, it is deploying. It will not take that much time for sure. It will be pretty fast. This is creating. And I'm sure something got stuck here. Let's see what's happening in this deployment center. Let me have a glass of water in the meanwhile. No, that's sure. This got stuck. The best thing to do is I'll close this browser. That's the safest thing to do. Instead of we wasting more time on that, I closed it. Let's give that a shot now. Okay, so let's give this a shot now. I'll come in here and app service, deploy to app service, that bookstore API under Azure sponsorship, and books API prod. Wow, I shouldn't have done that. That's the problem. I did it. It was my mistake. I'm sorry, folks. Let me stop this for 2 minutes. The existing deployment should fail now. See, this is completed. Okay, NGUA is completed. And most probably this will also be completed. Yeah, that's cool. So let's redo that. Books API, sponsorship, and API prod. Or else I'll delete and I'll create prod v1. That's the safest thing to do instead of wasting time. Okay, let's not waste any more time. So let me come back over here, um, go back and leave it as it is, and we'll create prod v1. That's the safest thing to do instead of wasting time. Okay, chalo, let's come back over here, um, create a web app, and let me select this prod, and I'll create v1. Okay, I'll create v1, and the code is runtime stack Node.js LST, and that is in East.us. That's in East.us. I will create a new plan for this and go and change from premium to shared. Let's go and do that. Monitor. I don't want anything. So all I need a app service plan. Okay, cool. That app service is, uh, we'll use this one, right? So I will show how this UI looks. At least that NGUI has been completed. The website is ready. And the React, it's still deploying. We'll come back to this one. In the meanwhile, we'll see that uh, node one. Okay, so let's go back to this one and mini projects and I go to ng products, this one. Okay, JSON server, watch. That's the JSON server because I'm using two things there. I'll show you. We'll go to Angular UI first. I mean, we'll do the mean stack one, but I just wanted to show that Angular UI is up and running. That's my intention. So you can come and see that. So right now, if I go and click on books, it will fail because right now the books API is, uh, uh, oh, I have connected to the previous version. We'll come back to that one. So you can see this. This is the one which is coming in from here. I can stop this. And if I do a full refresh, it will fail because I have stopped my local server. So this is some experiment which I did it. Uh, we can connect the Azure website to our local server also. So if I do a refresh, it goes and brings in this content. So let's work on this web API now first. I'll come back over here. I'll close everything and go back and click on deploy. Select the same sponsorship and where's that? Let me let me go back to this and refresh. Let's see. Yes, API is there. I'll check this. It should show. It doesn't show. What happened? I think I'll refresh it. That's stuck. Let me refresh that. If it is not working in this time, we fall back on the previous one. Okay, which I created. Looks like now it will work. Now we are deploying to prod v1. Okay, cool. It is coming in. That's cool. Let's wait for 5 minutes. This will be up and running. Then we will test it. Okay. So now we need to check the React project. Okay, this is connecting to the previous one, the dev API which I have created. We will change it in a moment, but let's see that all our applications are working. Because right now, if I come in here and you can see that George Reddy, we changed it. If I come into products, it connects to my local. If I go to books, you can see that it is connecting to the dev site. It should connect to prod v1. We'll fix that in a moment. Okay, that's not a big deal. We'll fix it. That being said, I'll keep this as a side, and the React one, is that completed? First, I'll close this, whichever NGUI is completed, I'll close this so that we have less number of things to deal with. Okay, this guy is still under process. So how can we check that? We can see it in this terminal itself that it is still under process, because React, it is too many files. And here also you can see that it is trying to install. The is not yet done. At least we are moving further. I will not touch it. C deployment is successful. Cool, that's cool. So let's go there. Uh, let's go back to this one and go to prod v1, and let's go to the deployment center, and let's see whether it has deployed it successfully or not before moving further, because I don't want again to get stuck somewhere. Okay, let's go to Kudu console. There's a lot of activity which is happening. Kudu console. We can check this environment variable. We can log into Bash. Come on. CD site. CD dub root. Okay, there you go. It is deploying that. That's cool. That's what we didn't see that. What we have seen previously, only this hosting file was there. It was my mistake. While it is deploying, I went and added that application settings. It was my mistake, folks. Apologies for that. And that might be the reason. Okay, it says that it has been completed. That's cool. So now let's see things in action. Let's come back to this guy. Go to the top, select this overview, and here is an API. We know the endpoint. We will go here and also come back to the log stream. Let's see that how things are failing. So it's not able to find. I said that API slash books, that's the endpoint. Okay. So because the env file was there, that is the reason it is able to pick up. So how do you know that env file is there? We can get into cd src now and cd config ls to know. This should be, is it here? prod v1. Let's see the configuration. Technically, it shouldn't work because we didn't specify that. Maybe it created it on its own. Ooh, let's see that environment. No, it didn't create. Why would it create? Without we specifying, why would it create it? I'm sure it was not created. Yeah, he didn't create. Then how is this working without the connection string? Let's close that. Let's come in here. Yeah, it's a prod API. And the configuration settings is also not there. Okay, anyways, we'll add this configuration settings as good citizens. Technically, it shouldn't work, guys, because I'm not seeing that. Uh, I'm not seeing the app settings, so it shouldn't work. But if it is working, I need to check that. What is that magic wand which is making this work? This settings should be here, and I will save this, and let's come back and hit this. Okay, cool then. So right now, if I come back to environment variables, it will come with that environment variables. Let's come in here to see a few other things. Let's go to this Docker logs. So that shows that whatever this Node.js API we are deploying, that is being deployed under inside this virtual machine, and there will be a container for that. We can see that log stream. If you select the log stream, you can see that it will flush that. So let me come in here and just do a restart of this so that we'll see the fresh logs there, or else I can do stop and start. So it will again reboot the container. We'll see that logs, all those logs coming in. Okay, that's cool. Let's come and let's see this logs. So we stopped it, and you can see that it is executing this Docker run command. It is executing this Docker run command, and also the this is the site appbooks.api prod v1. This is the one which we are using it. This is the one which we are using it. So see this, as and when we restarted, it will start flushing in the logs. Okay, so we can let us execute this from here in this postman, because the container is not yet ready. It will not display this one. See this, it is spinning because the container is not yet ready. I'll close this. So we'll see if the container is ready. So you can see this. It is slowly initialized successfully. And we can see this logs. It will flush saying that it gives more details. We can also come back over here and check the log streams here inside, because we did a couple of restarts and one stop and start. So it has to boot everything. It has to boot everything. See this. That means it has been properly initialized. Okay. So you can see that it executes this, and it says that initializing this warm up. And here it says that logging is not enabled for this container. So what we can do is we can come back to this uh, menu option, and I can switch it on, and I'll save this. Now you see a little bit extra information. Let me come back over here and uh, refresh. Let's do one more stop and start. Now see this? It shows everything, how much time it took to pull this. Let me stop and start. That will be uh, very much useful information to switch on that logs if you want to see more what is happening inside the container, where it is failing, all these informations, it will be useful. So slowly we'll wait here. Did it reboot? Yes, it stopped and started it. We'll come back to this log stream. It should, it is connecting. So it shows that. See this. It clearly shows that what all the layers it is pulling. What are the layers it is pulling in, and clearly it shows that what all the middleware things are coming in, and what endpoints you are hitting, how many seconds it took to return, and say image is up to date. So it's using it from the cache. See that? Should give us a fresh logs. It takes time, but we will not wait for it. We'll go to the next step of the process. Let it take time. So we have seen I did one mistake where I have went ahead and modified the app settings. That is the reason the deployment of API was stuck. If not, the rules of the game is you need to come to this and click on deploy, select, everything will work. Okay. So now, as I was mentioning, for Angular and for Angular and for React.js, it is little bit different. We can't do that mode, go to Azure and use it. So what we have to do is for this one also, npm run build. Like there also we said that npm run build. So where you will find that is here in this package JSON, you will have the scripts here. In this package JSON, you will have the scripts npm run build. So once you run this build, it will optimize that into the binaries like minification, bundling, uglification, or whatever it is. It has to do as part of his build process. It will do and drop it in this build location. We need to select this build location, right mouse click and deploy to app. The same thing what we did it for Angular. So let me show that again. Let me go back to GitHub, speaker series, Microsoft Reactor, 11, source, Angular app. I'll come in here. Is this ready? Yes, this is ready. And we'll see the logs should be ready. See that? Once we switch on that, now it clearly shows that Azure App Service or Linux. And you see that node version is 16.6. It's a LST. And this is a site it is deploying, and it executes all the commands, and also any endpoints you hit it. It gives a status as well as content. I mean, this will be helpful if you're doing some investigation. See this, I did one more time. So if you wait for a few seconds, it will show one more entry because just now we did it. We did hit one more time. See that? It has come for the third time. Okay, that's cool. So this is the latest books. I will take this. We can do redeploy of both. I will close this. So we'll quickly do redeploy of both Angular as well as the NGUI with our latest endpoint. So the endpoint is not the dev. The endpoint will be prod. So let me select the prod under environments. Okay, that I have selected. I mean, I don't need to do it here, but I'm doing it. Okay. Now that we have changed the endpoint, again, we need to build it. If not, it will not work. Npm run build, because that has to be compiled into that binaries, the latest binaries. Now let me come back here, and I should have used the env files, but due to lack of time, I didn't use it. I'm doing a hard coded, but we technically need to use the uh, use this env files and app settings as we did it for the Node.js one. Please never ever do this. I'm doing it just for the demo. Npm run build. So I'm building it again. Let me have a glass of water. So let me close these apps. We'll open it. Yep, that's there. This is building. Now the compilation piece in Angular 13 has improved a lot. I have seen the difference between Angular 12 and Angular 13. So this is like a rocking fast. And what we can do is we can come here and there will be main file. Okay, main file. And inside that main file, see that? You understood why are we recompiling that? So when we recompile the file, the content which we have given this env file, that gets built into this main. That's the reason we have to recompile. Okay, once we do a recompile, again select the folder, select this one, bookstore ng app. Don't select this dist. So bookstore ng app, right mouse click and deploy to web app. And select this. Come on. Okay, good. This goes as part of ngui prod. Okay, now deploy. Okay, let it deploy. That's cool. Now let's come back to that. That's done. Now let's come to this build, and we have this static assets and as well as this prod v1. Did we do that? Okay, that's in this service. I think it did it. Let's take little risk. I hope that I did a compile. Or else you want me to do that npm just to avoid run build. I'll come here and okay, the deployment was success. So now let's go first while this guy is building. Let's go and test the UI. Okay, anyways, we have seen that how the things are happening and you will get the entire information, how it is building. Like even it shows the layers which it is pulling in. See this? Even it shows the layers, what all the layers it is pulling in. Complete detailed information you'll get it. So this will be used as part of your investigation. Now that we have seen this to a decent extent, I'm closing it. Now let me go to the Angular UI, ngui prod, and is this running my local? Yeah, my local is running. So it's coming in here. Let me open this up and go to the network tab. I go to books. So it's bringing in the books proof. See that it is bringing in from API prod v1, API prod v1. So that two are matching. So that is the proof. And the products over here, that is, it's coming from my local machine. That's a hack, purely hack. Yeah, I didn't get a time to put it in Mongo, but at least one mean stack, if you see that mean stack Mongo Express, Angular, and Node. This is one stack. Let's work on the MERN stack now. Okay, the build is complete. Now I'll come in right mouse click here and go and deploy to web app. Go to my Microsoft Azure sponsorship and React.js UI prod. Yes, please go ahead and deploy. And okay, check the output window. I did two mistakes. One mistake is uh, adding one entry while the deployment was going on. That was my first mistake. And the second mistake, what did I do is the moment I clicked on deploy, I realized I immediately told that that's what my mistake was because I shouldn't deploy the way I deploy the Node.js. I need to for the React and for Angular because those are single page applications. You have to compile it and get the binaries into a folder. Right mouse click on the folder and deploy. I didn't do that. So the proof is if you come into this Kudu console for that, I don't know whether the folder will get overridden by this time, but we'll see that. Let's cross the fingers and see. We'll hope that we will see that. Let's quickly go to the debug console, go to command. I mean, this will be different, guys. See the menu options between Windows and the Linux will be different. The site what we have seen is that was see that I just literally previously this was the previous deployment. I just literally copied everything from here because when I went here and right mouse click and I did this deploy to web app, what it technically does is it picks up this entire folder and drops it here. So this is the proof. You see this. It dropped the node modules, it dropped the public folder, it dropped this one, it drops everything, which doesn't make sense. So that's not the way we will do it for React and Angular. For React and Angular, what we will do is we'll first compile that into a binaries, and then we'll just right mouse click on the folder where the binaries are. In React, you need to observe that everything is coming into the build folder, whereas in Angular, it comes to the dist slash then whatever the path which you give. Okay, so let me show that piece. It will be here in Angular JSON or yep, output path line number 26. It's dist bookstore -ng app. You can change it. It's not that, but historically dist folder is the one which is being used. So I'm also sticking to the same game plan. So it will be done in 2 minutes. Okay, while this is cooking up, we'll come back to that side. Anyways, we have seen the mean stack application here. Let's wait for a moment to see the MERN stack. Let me come back to the virtual machine. And this is my Docker container, folks. Docker CE on my virtual machine. And this is my Visual Studio Enterprise. So I can go ahead and execute this in two modes, three modes technically three modes. You can see this is .NET 6. This is the .NET 6. It is still work in progress. Eventually, this will be an e-commerce application with set of 6 to 8 microservices, including Docker, Kubernetes, gRPC, um, and Kibana, Grafana, alerts, API, enterprise service bus, RabbitMQ. A lot of things will come over the next 12 months. Uh, I'll be doing the sessions on this one also, but at this point of time, it is just starting. It's not yet fully baked. Um, that's one thing. And this is .NET 6. And I'm using the secrets JSON. I'll come back to the secrets JSON when we are doing the sessions on this one. At this point of time, it is using in memory. So let's see that I'm executing it in Kestrel. Okay, it's deploying. Let it deploy. In the meanwhile, we'll move forward here and do the next piece on this. Let me go. We have seen this. We will come back to this MERN stack. We have seen the mean stack, and then we'll go there. Okay, the mean stack is totally done. So I'll close this. So we have less number of things to observe. See this. That's one. I click on this. This is a Razor, guys. It's not Blazor or MVC. It is purely Razor application. So right now it is executing on my local machine. So you can see this my machine name. It's not coming from any container. You can see this difference. This is the machine name, computer name. This is the container name. So container name, you can see that colon null string colon. There is nothing. So now I'll stop this and I will switch the profile from Kestrel to Docker. Now I'm executing that. So as I was mentioning, nowadays this IDEs are becoming sophisticated and sophisticated. Now see this. Previously, we used to have a dedicated skill set to get into the Docker and check its log. So that was a pain, serious pain. And now, I mean, you have to put efforts to learn those commands. That's the reason I'm telling pain. It's not that learning some technology is pain, but we have to spend a lot of efforts to learn those things. Now, people, these tool set, they are making us more and more lazy. We don't need to put in our brains at all. I'll just click. Oh, this is what I was talking about, the enterprise level e-commerce solution which I started building in. At this point of time, I have one, two, three microservices. One is with MongoDB, one is with Redis Cache, one is with Postgres SQL. But over the period of next 1 year, it will be. So because this is my local container, you can see that. How do you tell Swami this is a container? You can come into the list of containers here and let's check this is one of the container. Yeah, see this bookstore web, that's one of the container. Now I can come and click on the CLI. That means you will come into the container. Right now we are inside the container. I can do ls and you can see this entire things, all the source code which you have seen in this Visual Studio 2022 is available inside this container. That means technically I'm here and I can do cat app settings. Listen, see that whatever is there, and that's from the Docker container. This is also fantastic tool to use, and other thing is we can click on this and you will know more details like logs. You can see that whether it is failed or what all the things which is happening, everything is here, and you can get into the stats and you can see that what is the memory usage and network, and you can do an inspect and where you know that what are the environment variables you are dealing with, and some other things what you can check is these mounts, what all the mounts are there, what all the ports which is supporting. So 443 is 49153, is that the port we are executing? 49153, that means we are going on HTTPS. We are going on HTTPS, and stats we have seen, we can browse, and this is exec into that. You can see that when I click on that, it is doing Docker exec IT interactive, the complete image ID, bin sh, bin bash or bin shell, whatever you want, you're comfortable. So you can stop, you can restart, and you can delete. And coming to the Visual Studio 2019, this guy is also started providing all the things whatever we have seen that. So you can come in here, you can see the logs. It will start flushing in the logs. Suppose if I come in here and I click on this books, so it's bringing in the books from in memory. So you can see that it will flush these logs over here. So let me clear it off and I'll see whether it is flushing the logs. If not, I mean, maybe I didn't switch on, but technically it should do that logging. Whatever is here, it should show. So if you go and see the files over here, um, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. God, I selected a wrong this thing and I was checking the logs. You can see that the home controller and other things. Let me clear this logs. Okay, after clearing this logs, I can come to privacy and come back and check that. See this, that's home controller and privacy. And click on books, and that also you can come and see that books, and you can see the files. You can see here also, folks. It's not that you can see only there. You can see here also. See that books controller, what all the methods I'm logging in, so that it clearly shows that what is the route it is going in. So the tools are becoming sophisticated like anything. Now this guy shows that that here I can come into this app, and you can have this, see this entire things. So here also we have seen that folder. When I go to exec into that, see that we are in the app folder. That's the reason we are able to see all these things. So technically here also you can see that we went into the app folder. Let me minimize. There are other folders also. If I come back here and I do cd dot dot, go to the parent, I do ls. See this app boot etc. You can check that. See, let me move this a little bit further so you can see that. Okay, so some like you have what all the ports which you are exposing, volumes, you have where it is binding, what is the source, what is the destination. So this path, the entire solution folder, you can now you can see that web application that has been mapped to the slash app inside the container. It is doing that. So that is the reason we are seeing this entire things over there. And what all the environment variables. Okay. That being said, we will come back to the MERN stack and then we will do the Docker registry. Wow, that has been completed. That's cool. So let me come in over here. This is NGUI. I need RJUI. It's not Radio Jockey, it's ReactJS. Jokes apart. Let's go and click this guy. There you go. We are seeing this. Uh, right now, only this list page will work. This edit and other things will not work. This is the code which I did it some one year ago or something. I don't have the latest. Yesterday, when I was working, there was one difference between the React router because I wanted to do it in all um, latest thing. So I took this React router, wanted to experiment or give it a fresh content. So that's when I did that V6 example. So that's when I realized when I went in here, I realized that few things has changed. At least the notable things what I see the difference is the switch case that has changed. So initially we used to, in the previous version, we used to have the switch case when we want to switch between different routes, show multiple things. Now that has changed from switch to router. Okay, see this. That one thing has changed. So from React 5, it will switch. So React router 6, it has become a router. So switch is not exported. See, you can see that that's what I was facing. I spent 1 hour time to figure it out. So this is how my code was there previously. Now from that, I had to change to route. Okay. So that was one thing. And another thing was between React use history versus use uh, use navigation. This was another difference. So I just spent some time to bring this home page up and running. Again, this using this parameters and other things, I didn't get a time to fix it because I have a lot of things to do. But at least the home page will definitely work. And let's see that whether it is hitting the latest prod or not. Let me come back to this and go and click on that. And you can see it is going and hitting app books API prod v1. Cool. So we have seen uh, learn to a decent extent how to deploy Node.js and what is env file and some of the security consideration like don't put source values and stop it. add it to the ignore file and create those application settings and how to go and investigate the logs and where to switch on so that we can see the logs which it when it is booting, where it is failing, and how many hits you are getting it, what is the values you are sending in everything. Then we saw that added Angular to the mix and made it a mean stack, and added ReactJS to the mix, and everything is latest. So this is 13 and this is 17 plus whatever it is, and Node latest. So I just bumped it up everything to the latest, and I faced a little bit problems, but that should be 100% fine. And we saw that how Mongo Node Express they integrate. Now I have my MongoDB in Atlas, and we were speaking from there. Okay, I think I can call that as a closure, and let's go to our next phase, which is very interesting phase. So Azure Container Registry. So let's go. That's cool. I close all these things. Let me come in here. At least we definitely have time for that. So container. Okay, container registry. Let me quickly create container registry as well as container instance. I'll create both so that we will save time. So this is dev. I'll make it prod. This is in prod. That's prod. This the standard SKU. Okay, that's the container registry. Let's create the. Oh, we need to wait for that container instance. Okay, let it create. In the meanwhile, we'll go and see that the same code, whatever we had, I pushed it to Docker Hub yesterday. We'll see that. We'll push it. We'll make one small change and we'll push it. Let me close all here and come to the index file, index.cs, and I will here under welcome, I will call it as 9th Feb 2022. Okay, that's one change I'm doing. And then what will I do is right mouse click on this and see that in the Docker Hub, when did I push it? The latest it got pulled 4 hours ago, but 9 hours ago I pushed it. So what do I do is I'll just go ahead and publish. And I have a few published profiles. Let me check that. Okay, this is the Docker Hub. Let me do a publish now. Because while this container registry is cooking up, I just wanted to spend some time there so that we'll see that flavor also. Uh, okay, I go to this access keys and enable this. Okay, that's cool. Let's wait. We'll see two different flavors, folks, in few minutes. In few minutes. My younger one is here. He might make some noise. He's 5 years old. Good that he went back. Okay, it's deploying. Uh, it's publishing. You can see that it is publishing from my local. It did a build. See that it did a Docker build -f the file, and it labeled it also. And then slowly it started transferring. You can see that all different layers are being transferred one by one. It is transferring. See this each and every step of the Docker file it is executing. It is copying one by one and create. You can see that the build was success. It created bookstore core, data repository, and web DLLs, and then it did .NET publish, and then it started pushing it here. See this, some of the layers which is already there, it is reusing from the cache, as I was mentioning previously. Others which it doesn't, it starts pushing in from uh, the local to the repository. Okay, so it did all is well. So let's come and check the Docker repository, and I do refresh. Let's see that. Okay, few seconds ago. So you can see that see all. So okay, I should have tagged differently, but never mind. I have this. And one more thing is we can have webhooks also. So as and when it's like a continuous delivery. So as and when we push something to this Docker hub, to this image, it goes and updates the site also, which is using it. Let's use this one right now. Okay, chalo then. Let's go to this one, which is right now we pushed it a minute ago. So while the container registry is there, okay, so the container registry is also there. We'll come here and we'll see there are no repositories. We pushed our code to Docker Hub. Now let's push it to container registry. So two different. I mean, I didn't have time, I know. If not, I would have shown to how to push it to the GitHub registry and pull it from there. That's also there. We'll see that in future episode. That's the, ooh, I need to create a new one. This goes and show all settings. I don't know whether I can fiddle with this. No, let's not do that. We'll waste a lot of our time. So instead, what I'm telling is we have to go ahead to Azure and Azure Container Registry. And here is the prod. That was yesterday's one. Let me go to the prod. There's the prod container registry. I click on finish and I click on publish. So you can see that it will build the solution first. And you can see that it is building. And you can see all these activities. The same thing, whatever it did it to the Docker up, plus or minus, it will do the same thing because there is no difference. The only thing is the destination is either the Docker hub or either it is the Azure Container Registry. Apart from that, there is no difference. Okay, let it come. In the meanwhile, let's go and create one more thing. Let's select the web app and that I'm calling it as this. This is again a container which is from the Docker Hub. Even though it is a web app, but technically it is a container. That's what we are using, folks. Please understand. Okay, I will uh, prod. Okay, prod container. I don't have space. I don't want to do that. I'll select this container and I want it to be in East US. All my items. Okay, I will go ahead and create a new plan. Plan. I don't have that much budget to take, but I'm okay taking in this. And here it will change. So it's a single container, or you can use a Docker Compose if you have multi containers. Like I was showing my other solution where here I have multiple things in the in my containers. So I have MongoDB, Redis Cache, Postgres. All three are containers inside the Docker. It comes through the Docker Compose, and you have three microservices: product, basket, and some other microservice I don't remember, and the web. So totally 8 images goes as part of that. So I'll show you in future. So it's a single container. Let's take a single container. You can use this one. You can have your private registry or Azure Container Registry. You can select the Azure Container Registry. It shows up the prod. But let's take a different approach. Let's use Docker Hub, and we can come to the Docker Hub over here, and that is this. Okay. The whatever we pushed it few minutes ago. I'll come here and I will select the latest. Okay, we don't need any monitoring for this one. The entire exercise is how do we deploy different stacks on Azure, and how do you communicate with each other, and how many flavors you can do. Like you can see this Node.js on Linux and Docker container, and then full framework and .NET Core, and pushing it to Azure Container Registry, and creating a Azure container instance, and pushing it to Docker Hub, and creating a web app with that Docker Hub image. So we have seen a spectrum or a wide range of options, even though it's a small topic. It's not a small topic. I feel web app itself is like an ocean. We have a lot of options to play around. That's cooking up. While that is cooking up, let's go and create the Azure Container Registry also. So I'm tagging it as ACI. Okay, let's do that so that we'll see those two, and we can call it a closure. Rashmita, I'll take 10 more minutes so that we can make it a closure. Hello, Rashmita. Hello, is my voice audible? Anyone?
Yes, Swami, it's
Oh,
audible.
okay. Okay, thanks. I'm sorry. There was a silence, so I got scared. So we are using this prod, and we select this book and the latest, and one CPU, this networking, and I don't want to touch anything. Review, create, and create. Okay, while that is being cooked up, we can come back to this, and let's see a few things. So this we have pushed to this Docker Hub registry few minutes ago. Uh, let's wait until, is my net slow? It's 140 Mbps. 100 plus is decent. I don't know why it was 8 minutes ago we pushed it. Another thing what we did is we came and we pushed this to the Azure Container Registry. So net we have pushed the same image to two different places. And the way they are handling it is little different. But apart from that, I don't see any difference. There's a Linux and there's also Linux, but the repositories are different. Again, the entire concept is same, folks. We can have the webhooks and we can hook to that. Here we have the webhooks where we have the container. We can hook it up. I'll show you how to hook that. Will not do it, but at least I want to show you that where the things are. So where is the site which I've created? This one, bookstore. Let's go to this site. And let me click on this. Razor pages. Let it come, no problem. Let's go to the deployment center in the meanwhile. Okay, see that? That's coming in from, you can create it from the GitHub Actions or Azure pipeline. We are using the container registry, and that's a single container. It's not Docker Compose, it's single container. And the source is Docker Hub. We can anytime change it to Azure Container Registry or your own private registry. And that's a public image, and we have given that. And this is a webhook. So if I copy this, and where we have seen either in the Docker Hub or the other place, this is a webhook. So I can go and I can add that webhook over here for this particular uh, image. So what will happen is if I see this, the webhook name and the webhook URL, if I give this URL over here, and anytime I push in new changes to this particular image, so that will come and automatically update this like a continuous delivery to this site. Okay, that's one thing I just wanted to highlight. And you can see that this is an image, the computer name and the Docker image name. Again, this is the same hello world. I mean, eventually this is going to be an e-commerce solution in next 1 year. Slowly, every month I will going to add something and I will present it in our sessions. See that we added that. And if I come in here just to show the difference, oh, see the dev image. Let's go to home, and here we will go to home. See the difference? It's welcome. It's welcome 9 February 2022. We just added it. Okay, that's one good news. Now let's go back to this one, and our Azure container instance is also there. You can see that those instances, it is showing in here. And we can see this properties. What is the image, right? What is the image? And you can connect it into that bin bash. I've shown you in my, now, I've shown you in my virtual machine. How do you do the bash into this? So similar thing, you will have access to do the bin bash here, and you'll have logs. You see that? You'll have the logs, and you'll have properties, and you have events. So that shows whether the solution is up and running or not. So that's, I mean, this is when you have a lightweight. I didn't have time to speak about that documentation where we can do comparison. We will see that. Now let's try executing this for a moment. I made one mistake. No problem. I could have given the FQDN. I gave it in my yesterday's demo last night when I was creating. I gave a FQDN. Today I forgot to give the FQDN. So no problem. Let's go and hit it through the public IP. Hit it through the public IP. You can see that the same. So the one difference is for this web application, it's a web app, but a Docker container. The image is being pulled from Docker. But this one is Azure Container Instance. This is ACI, Azure Container Instance. But the source of this image is coming from Azure Container Registry. So we have seen quite a few flavors. I planned to show the app also, Web API and Blazor WASM. I think we have did that, but I just wanted to show in the same demo to see the spectrum of demos, seeing wide varieties, different sources. Okay, so that's me today. And how was the session? Any feedback, positive or negative, that will help me to fine tune my content. Or add more content, please you can type. Thanks, Drishti. Anyone else? How did you like? Am I going speed or I don't uh, do the sessions uh, with slides. I come with 0 slides because now world is filled with information. Now you type one thing, you'll get 101 articles. So I go the other way. I come with 0 slides and just do. Ramesh, thanks, Ramesh. I'll see that I'll be a little fast. And you see that I had 9 demos to showcase, but I was able to hit only um, uh, I was able to showcase only 6. Very useful and awesome session. Thanks, Mohammed Aminuddin and Imran. Thanks, Imran. So That's this one. And next session will be very good. I request you people to join that. That is, we will create a mini project. In this 1.5 hours, we will create an entire project using durable functions, right? So we will create an entire solution, a mini project with durable function. Okay, please watch that 10 videos and plus this 11 and 10 more to come. So my intention is we'll learn a lot of things in this Azure. Okay, thanks, Mohammed. So we'll learn a lot of things. Please share the website and resource for reference. Sure, I have given my uh, GitHub link. I will again post it here right now, just for the benefit of others. That's my GitHub. You will be seeing in, and you have anything, please post it. Kuljit, thanks, Kuljit. So that's my GitHub. Please go grab it. And if you have any queries, please post it. And even if you have any feedback, please do let me know. Uh, because I that will help me to fine tune my demos. But I always come with 0 slides. So if you are coming to my session, it will be purely hands-on. Okay, so you will learn something and go. We do it because I do a live session. Even if it is failing, that's fine. Uh, Obviously, it should fail. I don't come with slides. Cool. Thanks so much. So, have anything, folks? Anyone? You can unmute your mic and you can speak. At least you can unmute and you can say bye, Swami. Jokes apart. I mean, I know my jokes are not high quality, but I would like to try one or two every now and then. Chalo then, if we don't have anything, Balaji Chandrasekhar, thank you so much. And Imran, you liked it. Muhammad, you liked it. Ramesh Naidu, thanks for understanding. So I'll see because I need to showcase few other things. So I will do it in future when I'm doing the future sessions. I'll bring in those. There are two mini projects I have to showcase in Azure Functions, and this piece I need to show. But I will see that I will showcase one of the e-commerce solution I've shown you, isn't it, which I'm building in. It will take 1 year to build. So that will also, we will flash it as part of monthly series. You guys can join that and learn how to build entire e-commerce application from scratch. There will be nothing. We'll start from scratch with polyglot data. We'll do that after completing this. Okay. Thanks, guys. Gaurav and Rashmita, I think there are no queries. We can call it a closure.
Sh- sure, Swami. Thank you
Guys,
so much, Swami,
guys,
for the session, and thank you all.
one second. I'm really
Sure,
sorry.
sure, sure.
Guys, please join the next session. It's not only durable functions. It's not only you learn a durable function, but we'll build a mini project with that. Okay. Even though I don't type everything sitting in front of you, but within this 1.5 hours of window, we will do a decent set of Azure functions with, I don't know what I'm going to build. I still have 2 weeks time. So I'll be building it. So I will bring in some service bus queue and Angular UI or Blazor WASM UI, API management. I don't know what all the things I'm going to bring in, but it will be a different solution. Okay? Gaurav, it will be there in the same Rashmita is posting in Meetup. You see that that's on 23rd, and one on March, and there is 2 sessions in March. Um, I think where is that? Rashmita, the Meetup group link. If
Yeah, it's already there in the chat, Gaurav. I've
Gaurav,
already
check.
shared. Yeah.
Gaurav, check that. Okay, the next one is on 23, and other two will be in March. Chalo then, guys. Have a safe day, ma'am. Back to you.
Thanks, Swami. Thank you all for joining us. And please share your feedback about today's session. Thank you once again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye,
Thank you,
folks.
Swamiji. Thank you very much.
Thank you.